So, welcome back to the first day of Kwanzaa. We have lit the candle. The first day, as you remember, is Umoja. And I'm going to read a story that tells you or helps you to think about Umoja. Do you remember what Umoja stands for? It's unity. So as you listen to the story, think about how this story is about unity. A farmer and his wife had 7 children. Now, folks from neighboring farms were always telling them how well blessed they were to have such fine, healthy children. But sometimes the farmer and his wife didn't feel quite so lucky because the 7 children constantly argued and fought with each other. They yelled and screamed at the top of their voices. They threw stools and bowls across the room. Sounds of screams and things crashing into the walls could be heard all day, and sometimes even all night. At supper time, when the family gathered at the table, the 7 children made faces at one another and kicked each other's feet. There was no peace in the farmer's home. One evening for supper, the farmer's wife cooked everyone's favorite meal, chicken and dumpling stew. She placed the big pot of stew in the middle of the long table and announced, "It's time to eat." The farmer and the 7 children rushed to the table, as they always did, and blessed the food. Slowly the mother served the farmer his bowl of stew. The farmer served a bowl of stew to his wife. None of the 7 children could wait for their turn for a bowl of stew. They grabbed the pot, yanked it this way and that, and flung it to the wall. All the delicious-looking chicken and dumplings spilled out onto the floor. The farmer pounded on the table and shouted, "Enough is enough! Clean up the mess you have made and go to bed." The 7 children began to cry and blame each other. Later that night, the farmer and his wife couldn't sleep. "I'm worried about our children," said the wife. "They certainly are a wild bunch, but I believe buried in their hearts is kindness," said the farmer. "You're right, my dear husband, but we need a way to dig up that treasure buried beneath their hearts," said the wife. Early the next morning, the farmer woke up each of the 7 children. "Hurry and do your chores, children, for we are going on a journey through the woods," said the farmer. The 7 children were full of anticipation. They loved walking through the woods. Quickly they did their chores and ran to the table to eat their morning meal. But instead of finding 7 bowls of hot rice, they saw 7 neatly tied bundles lying on the table. "Where is our food?" asked the 7 children. Now this is the picture of the 7 children, all different ages. Really colorful picture. "It's time to go on our journey," said the father. "We will eat fruits and berries along the way." "Goody!" shouted the children. "And take these bundles with you," said their mother. "Don't open them now, for you will need them later." She gave each of the 7 children a bundle and a hug, and so off they went. There were no clear-cut walkways. They saw one fruit tree, but it bore very little fruit. They saw only one sweet berry bush, but it was surrounded by a thicket of thorns. Mosquitoes buzzed around their ears. Snakes glided across their path. They walked all day long. When they came to a clearing, the farmer and the 7 children stopped to rest. The farmer said to them, "My dear children, I must return home at once. There is something out here your mother and I want all of you to find. When you have it, you will be able to return home." "But Father," said one of the 7 children, "the sun is going down." The farmer said no more and walked away. "What shall we do now?" said one of the 7 children. "I will decide because I am the oldest," said the oldest child. "But I am the smartest. I should decide what we should do," said the next child. "I'm hungry," said the child before the child in the middle. "I'm thirsty," said the child in the middle. "I'm scared," said the child after the child in the middle. "My legs hurt," said the child next to the youngest child. "I want to go home," said the youngest child, and he cried as loudly as he could. The 7 children began arguing over which direction to take and what should be done next and who should be doing it. One of the 7 children claimed that he knew what their mother and father wanted them to find, but he wasn't going to tell any of them. Each of the 7 children was curious about what was in the others' bundles, but no one wanted to share the contents with anyone else. Finally, each of the 7 children ran off into the woods in a different direction, hoping to get as far away from the others as possible. When she was safely away, the oldest child opened up her bundle and found 2 flint stones. Flint stones are what you use to make a fire in the woods. The child next to the oldest child opened up his bundle and found kindling, bits and pieces of dry sticks and twigs. One of the 7 children found a net made of tiny strings in his bundle. Another one of the children unfolded a large quilted blanket that was inside her bundle. The middle child discovered a canteen of water in her bundle. The child next to the youngest child had a bundle wrapped within a bundle within a bundle. Inside the last bundle, she saw a loaf of banana bread. The youngest child was very confused because he had found a piece of cloth inside his bundle. Something was drawn on the cloth, but he could not tell what it was because the woods had become dark and strange animal sounds could be heard. The youngest child screamed out in terror. The other children, fearing that their brother was in danger, ran through the woods to help him. Then he showed them what he had found in his bundle. "We will need to make a fire with my flintstones so we can see what is on the piece of cloth," said the oldest child. "I will help you, my sister. I have some kindling," said the child next to the oldest child. After they made the fire, they set the net up like a tent so the mosquitoes wouldn't bite them. They passed the canteen around so each of them could drink some water. The child next to the youngest child gave each of her brothers and sisters a piece of banana bread. They looked at the piece of cloth and realized that it was a map showing them how to get back home. Feeling somewhat better, they lay under the blanket and went to sleep. The next morning, the 7 children woke up. They felt strong and happy. They were glad they had stayed together and were able to make it through the night without any harm coming to them. The 7 children followed the directions on the map and returned home through the woods safely. The farmer and his wife were pleased to see their children. Holding hands, the family formed a circle and gave thanks to their Creator. Then the children told their mother and father how each one of their brothers and sisters had shared what was in the bundles. "Oh, children, did you find the thing your dear mother and I wanted you to find?" "Yes, Father," said the oldest of the 7 children. "Together we used what we had been given and found our way out of the forest. We found unity." The youngest of the 7 children spoke up. "Yes, but we also found Mother's delicious banana bread." The father, mother, and all the children laughed. The father looked around at his family enjoying each other and feeling happy that they were together again. He said, "We are together as a family. This is our strength. Together we have found unity."